Whenever I sit down to do a general collective reading, it seems like I'm just tapping into masculine energy. So we're just going to go with it. Um, I have felt so much pressure in the air today. I don't know what it is, but granted, the weather's kind of weird here. It is still technically winter time, but it just feels like more than that. So I wanted to kind of pull on it. And like I was saying, it came through as masculine. Um, but the last couple of times I've been doing these readings, um, soul tie energy has come through. So I feel like there's a a divine masculine collective, maybe that I'm tapping into. Um, and if that's the case, then you guys are probably newly awakened. Like I feel like a lot of you guys are kind of coming online just in the last 3 months. And so I wanted to kind of tap into that just a little bit. When we're talking about divine masculine journey or just like a divine journey in general, it's very much about awakening to who you truly are. Um, and for men, that can be really difficult because there's so much conditioning that takes you away from seeing into yourself. Society teaches you to be emotionless. And the only emotions that you're allowed to experience are excitement, meaning like arousal, and anger. And so things like sadness, regret, longing, heartbreak, all of those things get swept under the rug. And so if you're on an awakening, then that means the first thing that happens is you get confronted with your shadow. A lot of times people will run away because it's not fun to look at that. But if you're brave enough, then let's talk about what comes. Because this world needs people to be brave. And bravery starts in the minute moments of your day to day life that maybe you stick up for somebody that you wouldn't have normally stuck up for. And a lot of times that can be yourself. And a lot of times that can be against people that you don't normally stick up against. So, like your parents, maybe you have enmeshment where your mother was always, wanting you to stay around, having a lot of expectations, especially if you're the oldest born. Um, Maybe your father had a lot of expectations of what it meant to be a man. Maybe your friends, maybe your lovers. So let's see. There's one. The first card out is Answer the Call. What is your soul calling you to do? If your reaction to that card is overwhelm, then that means you're ungrounded and you need to practice some meditation to calm your minds and maybe take a break from social media for a little bit. As I live and breathe, align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change? So, the reason that you get activated on this type of divine journey is because you're needed. Your bravery is needed. Your words are needed. There's something about you that this world needs in order to move forward, in order to move into a brighter future. And it's asking you to confront your inner shadow so that you can show other people the way. Furthermore, it's so that you can help others that are already working on the way for others so that you can help advocate. Because there's a lot of people out there that are doing the work and they're alone, they're doing it all by themselves. And so as you awaken, be a support system for them as well so that they can be a support system for you. Aligning your life talks about those relationships that I was mentioning where you might need to stand up for yourself. And it can be harder than it seems. There's a lot of men that are very masculine in their dating life, but in their work life, maybe not as much as you think. You know, you're wheeling and dealing, trying to do business, but you say yes a lot of the times when you don't want to. You try and be agreeable. You try and make people want to do business with you. But sometimes people do business with you and they don't pay you as much as they should because you're not holding the value of who you are high enough. If people think that they can get your services at a scream and deal because you're willing to say yes to anything, then you're going to be working yourself ragged for peanuts. Make sure that you know your value. And that starts with aligning your life with yourself and with those people that you most want to say yes to when you really want to say no, especially those that are holding a checkbook. So, something to think about. This one. Dance with life. This is another great way to find out how to answer your call. So, a lot of times when we're out of alignment in our life, there's things that we've done for enjoyment that weren't actually filling our cup. It was more an avoidance tactic, like sleeping with lots of people, drinking a lot, staying up partying all night, um, you know, spending lots of money, that type of thing, because it gives you this quick hit of validation, but it doesn't sustain you. So you keep going back for more and more and more. Dance with Life is talking about something that actually changes your energy. That the energy that caused this misalignment in your life needs to change, which means the way that you interact with your own life needs to change as well. But it's not meant to be torturous, it's meant to be fun. You think about the things that bring you joy, and then you lean into that. So it could be maybe you really love animals, maybe you really love dogs. Maybe you need to adopt a dog, but not like an expensive breed. Maybe go to a pound somewhere and find the scruffiest looking dog that matches kind of how you feel. A dog that's maybe having a rough time, and maybe you two can heal each other together. Another thing could be, maybe you're in the city a lot. Maybe you need to spend some more time in the country. You're in the country a lot. Maybe you need to go to the city for a little bit. Maybe you normally hang out with people of a certain tax bracket. That's what we say in America. I don't know where you are. But people of a certain income level. Maybe you need to hang out with some different people for a little bit. Figure out what things are actually like. But make it be fun. Bring whimsy back into your life that brings joy and excitement in a way that doesn't dissipate tomorrow. In a way that when you wake up in the morning, it's lasting, it's sustaining. It filled your cup and it stayed. That's the kind of thing that you need. All right. So with that in mind, let's pull a couple other cards and see what else I can help with. By the way, that was the Light Oracle deck, because if you're a divine, then you're a light worker. And all that means is that you're just meant to show the way. You're meant to help people and help this world in a way that maybe you've been neglecting. I'm going to clarify a couple of things. And then if we need to go into tarot, we can. But I think this might be good. All right. If we're talking about answering the call and aligning your life by doing the things that truly matter to you, Let's see if the universe can tell us a little bit more about what's going to resonate for you. Cutting edge. Slice through obstacles and carve a path towards your dream. Slice through obstacles. And cutting edge. That makes me think of maybe cutting things off, slicing through obstacles. That kind of reminds me of what I was talking about earlier when it's talking about standing up for yourself. A little bit like that. Pathfinder. Trust your inner compass to illuminate your path through love and career, revealing the direction your soul wishes to explore. Trust your inner compass. Your inner compass is your intuition. That's the part of you that, if you're a masculine, got shut down pretty early on. You're not supposed to be in touch with your intuition. You're supposed to follow orders. You're supposed to do what you're told. So following your inner compass, that starts with that kind of like early morning meditation, calibrating yourself to yourself, starting a morning routine, making sure that you can listen to yourself. And after you say yes or no to somebody, check in with your body. Does your body agree with that answer? You know, like where somebody's like, hey, can you do this for me? And you say yes, but then your body's like, ugh, protected. Find solace in the safety of knowing you are sheltered and guided through life's tempest towards tranquil shores. That's something worth mentioning, is a lot of times when you're early on in your awakening, you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable to like people who are siphoning energy vampires, that type of thing. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's just the concept of people who don't know how to fill their own cups energetically, and so they feed off of people. And when you're newly awakened, you're kind of delicious, if that makes sense. So protecting yourself is part of that spiritual hygiene. I have another video on that you can watch, but it's basically meditating and thinking about a protective shield around yourself. If you want more, just let me know. But it looks like that's the heaviness, is you may be just kind of lost in the mist a little bit right now. And the way you're going to find your way out is through those little glimmers of happiness, and also by protecting yourself energetically from other things that might be trying to trap you in that haze, because then they can more easily manipulate you. So listen to yourself, find that inner guidance inside yourself, that inner compass, and follow it out. You got this. Love you.